It's getting harder and harder to stand out from the crowd when you're picking a new car these days, even if you're looking at a sporty coupe. But thanks to things like the Peugeot RCZ, it is still possible. There aren't any blisteringly fast engines in the RCZ, but there aren't really any slow ones either. The petrols are the quickest and the ones we'd go for, while diesel turns it into more of an economical cruiser than an out-and-out sports car. But whichever engine you go for, the RCZ's steering is not quite sharp enough to make it as entertaining as the best in class. That said, there's plenty of grip and it's nicely stable around the corners without too much in the way of body roll, even if you're pushing on a fair bit. But if you do want to enjoy the RCZ, you're going to have to stick to as smooth a road surface as you can find, as the ride on this car is pretty awful and it crashes through every little bump and pothole there is. Peugeot owners will recognise a lot of this interior with the same small fiddly buttons that you get on other models. However, there is a touch of class to this, with this leather trimming particularly nice and available on the top model. But although the cabin looks and feels nice, one problem is getting comfy, as this steering wheel and seat don't adjust quite enough to get into the optimum driving position. And one of the most eye-catching things about the RCZ is this curved windscreen. And despite its size, visibility is not that great due to these huge pillars. The other thing the curves do is give you a little bit more headroom in the back, but as you can see, I've got this seat as far forward as possible, and like most coupes, there's not much space back here for a fully grown adult. Kids aren't going to be that much more comfortable either, so it's best to think of the RCZ as a two-seater car. Now, in fairness, you're probably not going to buy a coupe for its back seat space, but this big boot is a welcome bonus. It's got a nice wide opening, and if you want a bit more room, you can drop these seats. In fact, it's so big, you've got to stretch a fair bit to flip them down. So the RCZ is certainly striking, and it's entertaining enough to drive to make it worth considering, but it's not without its flaws. For more information, search for Peugeot RCZ on whatcar.com.